A few years back, our reality got a rude awakening when another dimension crashed the party. Suddenly, every spooky urban legend you've ever heard of became terrifyingly real. But humanity didn't just roll over. A new breed of superpowered heroes emerged to fight back. These strange creatures were dubbed demons, and the awakened humans who fought them were called hunters. Of course, our protagonist Xiaohei is dealing with a far greater crisis, choosing breakfast. He's deep in thought, weighing the complex pros and cons of bread versus a slightly cheaper crepe. Despite the world-ending chaos, he's stuck living the same old life as an ordinary F-tier person. He walks off with a heavy sigh, defeated by his own indecisiveness and now carrying 2 breakfasts. Making his way through the classroom, his social anxiety proves to be a bigger monster than any demon. He finds his usual spot in the back, a lone wolf in a world of heroes and legends. Meanwhile, the popular girls are discussing the latest trends, completely oblivious to his inner turmoil. And there she is, Lin Xia, the girl he's been crushing on from a safe, non-confrontational distance. But today, the universe throws him a curveball when she turns and flashes him a brilliant smile. His entire system short-circuits, managing only a flustered, stammering reply. He's never been one for bold moves, always too afraid to act on his feelings. He wishes confessing was as simple as buying both breakfasts when you can't decide. If only life had a try-before-you-buy option for every major decision. He dreams of a power to test out every possible future and then choose the perfect one. Lost in thought, a strange flicker outside the window suddenly snaps him back to reality. Because class is about to be interrupted by a giant, ominous gate tearing open the sky. The classroom descends into panic, students frozen in sheer disbelief. A hand smashes against the door, signaling the arrival of an uninvited guest. Their teacher stumbles in, transformed into a grotesque demon surrounded by spectral mouths. In a flash of dark energy, the demon snatches a screaming student from his desk. Xiaohei's mind goes blank, his finger outstretched in pure, unadulterated shock. The horrifying truth drips down like blood. A real-life demon has crashed their class. With a stitched-up grin, the demon announces he's taking attendance in the most twisted way possible. He calls out the first name on his list, and a terrified girl realizes she's been chosen. In an instant, the chosen student is gone, leaving only a grim reminder of her fate. Her friend is left splattered and speechless, staring into the face of pure terror. Xiaohei finally snaps out of his stupor, slamming his hands on the desk in disbelief. The demon teacher cackles, clearly enjoying the absolute terror he's causing. With a chilling grin, he taunts the survivors, asking who wants to be his next victim. Panic erupts as the remaining students make a desperate and foolish dash for the exit. But the demon is faster, picking them off one by one in a flurry of dark energy. The grim roll call continues until the classroom is filled with a dreadful silence. Trapped and shaking, Xiaohei realizes the only way out might be through the window. His eyes widen as a new, terrifying thought crosses his mind. He spots Lin Xia frozen amidst the chaos, a lone figure in the pandemonium. Even splattered and crying, she's torn between saving herself and saving everyone else. For the first time in his life, the chronic overthinker makes a snap decision. He lunges towards Lin Xia, offering a desperate escape route through the window. She reaches back, a glimmer of hope in the middle of the chaos. With tears in her eyes, she calls out his name as their hands are about to connect. But their desperate escape is cut short in a sudden, brutal instant. It was a scene of pure, unfiltered despair that he would never forget. And in that moment of failure, Xiaohei's story came to an end. Or so he thought, as he suddenly jolts awake in his seat, completely unharmed. He stares at his hands, bewildered, questioning if he really just died. But looking over, he sees the classroom is exactly as it was before the demon ever appeared. And there she is again, Lin Xia, flashing him that same brilliant smile from moments ago. Xiaohei is completely baffled, trying to process the fact that he's very much not dead. He realizes he's been sent back to the exact moment before the demon crashed the party. A system window appears, explaining that what he just experienced was a demonstration of a new skill. He quickly confirms that this game-like interface is a secret only he can see. His mind connects this power to his breakfast dilemma. He can now test out every choice. This means he can find the single best answer out of countless terrible possibilities. A smirk spreads across his face. He can deduce the next 10 minutes and find a way to win. Without a second thought, he decides to activate his newfound future-seeing ability. His eyes glow with power as his mind enters a state of pure deduction, ready to change his fate. With newfound resolve, Xiaohei slams his desk and screams a desperate warning for everyone to run. He points to the window, explaining it's their only escape route before the demon blocks the door. But his classmates just stare back, completely silent and motionless in their confusion. The other students whisper amongst themselves, thinking he's completely lost his mind. He grits his teeth, realizing his warning is useless. They won't believe him until it's too late. In his vision, this path leads to failure as the demon teacher materializes right behind him. The creature places a hand on his shoulder, its stitched-up grin mocking his futile attempt. It uses him like a puppet, announcing to the class that it's time for a deadly roll call. The first name is called and a student is instantly eliminated, confirming this future is a dead end. A system window pops up, terminating the simulation and snapping him back to the present moment. The system yanks him back to reality, confirming the first simulation was a total bust. He slams his fist on the desk, the frustration of his failed future boiling over. The vivid memory of that gruesome ending is so real it makes him physically ill. His sudden outburst earns him a confused glance from a classmate, completely unaware of the danger. Realizing words won't work, he devises a new plan: stop the demon at the source. He'll hold the door, buying just enough time for everyone to escape through the window. With a new strategy locked in, he dives back into another simulation, ready for round 2. He sprints towards the front of the class, bumping a tough-looking student out of his way. The guy shouts after him, sarcastically asking if he's being chased by a demon. Ignoring the comment, Xiaohei slams the door shut, ready to face whatever comes next. He twists the lock, hoping a simple piece of metal can stop a dimensional horror. Bracing himself against the door, he becomes the last line of defense for his classmates. But physical barriers mean nothing as the demon phases right through with a sinister promise. It begins its deadly roll call, its voice echoing with a terrifying, inescapable power. Another student vanishes, and the simulation ends in a familiar splash of failure. Snapping back to reality, he realizes the demon's voice can't be blocked by a simple door. The mental toll of reliving these gruesome futures is starting to break him. A selfish thought cuts through the panic. Why should he risk his life for strangers? He's caught in a new dilemma, torn between his survival instinct and his conscience. But his dark thoughts are interrupted by a gentle touch and a surprisingly pleasant scent. He's snapped out of his dark thoughts by a concerned classmate asking if he's okay. A second girl offers to get him medicine, worried by his pale and shaken expression. Even the class tough guy offers to cover for him during the upcoming roll call. But the phrase roll call triggers a horrifying memory of the demon's deadly game. In a flash of insight, he realizes everyone's first reactions reveal their true nature. He understands that no matter how many do-overs he gets, people's core instincts won't change. With this new understanding, he closes his eyes, formulating a radical new plan. His eyes blaze with power as he activates his deduction skill one more time. The system confirms he's entering another simulation, ready to test his new theory. This time he goes on the offensive, launching a surprise attack with a chair as the demon appears. But the demon adapts its strategy, calling out his name with a twisted grin. He's immediately targeted and eliminated, discovering the demon can alter the roll call at will. Snapping back to the present, he's drenched in sweat, the mental strain becoming unbearable. Forcing himself to stay calm, he immediately re-enters the deduction state for another go. His next strategy is more direct, physically forcing his classmates out the window to safety. Yet the demon's logic evolves with his, deciding to eliminate them in a new, twisted order. This future ends just as badly, with both him and the student he tried to save being eliminated. Next, he tries hiding under a desk, only to learn that out of sight is not out of mind for this demon. As he flees another failed attempt, he starts to notice a potential pattern in the demon's attacks. The screen flashes with countless failures, each one ending with his name being called and his spirit points draining away. Just as he's about to crack the code, his power fizzles out, forcibly terminating the simulation. Back in reality, he's pulled from his thoughts by a gentle touch on his shoulder. He turns, recognizing a familiar scent and wondering if his crush has finally noticed him. But it's another classmate, offering him some medicine for his distressed state. His eyes widen, not at her kindness, but at the object she's holding. A simple bottle of water sparks a sudden, brilliant realization. With a confident grin, he declares he's finally figured out how to win this impossible game. He slams his desk, calculating that they have exactly 30 seconds before all hell breaks loose. To get everyone moving, he screams that an earthquake is hitting, creating a believable panic. His classmates buy it, suggesting they evacuate, perfectly playing into his 30-second escape plan. The clock is ticking as his fake earthquake sends ripples of chaos through the class. He knows the truth is too insane, so he's banking on a lie they can't immediately disprove. His master plan begins with a simple yet crucial prop: A bottle of water. He snatches the bottle and bolts, his desperate cries fueling the staged emergency. With a dramatic point, he directs everyone to the only viable exit, a 2-story drop. His performance is so convincing that even the class tough guy starts to look worried. The tough guy reasons that the shouting is so frantic, it might actually be real. But a sudden unseen force snatches the cigarette from his mouth, proving something is very wrong. His earlier sarcastic jab about demons suddenly feels a lot less like a joke. With 23 seconds left, even the tough guy joins the cause, urging everyone to jump. The girls are swept up in the panic, deciding to ask questions later and run now. With only 20 seconds left, the classroom descends into a frantic, chaotic evacuation. But not everyone is buying the act. A couple of skeptics decide to sit this one out. And some are just completely oblivious, sleeping through their own potential demise. Xiaohei knows he's out of time to convince the stragglers. The demons are coming. He screams for the last few to run as the first wave of students makes the leap. Even the tough guy becomes an unlikely leader, organizing an orderly escape from the second floor. But their escape is interrupted as the sky suddenly darkens, revealing a strange sight. The countdown ticks away as the portal to another dimension rips open above the city. Every second feels like an eternity as Xiaohei watches his plan unfold against the clock. The students finally see the gate, their panic turning into pure terror as they realize the demons are here. With only 10 seconds left, Xiaohei flips a switch, kicking the next phase of his plan into gear. He's hijacked the classroom sound system, knowing there's not enough time to save everyone who's left. As the sky burns red, he blasts some heavy metal to set the mood for the coming battle. The music blares a fitting Freeway to Hell anthem, signaling his new role in this chaos. His mission is clear: become a one-man barricade to protect the stragglers. He recalls his countless simulations, all spent trying to crack the demons' attack pattern. After dozens of gruesome failures, he finally understood the key to their weakness. With just 5 seconds to spare, he prepares the secret weapon he deduced would work. He creates a makeshift firebomb, ready to give the uninvited guests a very warm welcome. The final countdown begins, with only 4 seconds left on the clock. He recalls from his simulations that the demon's only weapon is its voice. Right on schedule, the demon teacher smashes through the door with 3 seconds to spare. Its stitched-up mouth opens wide, preparing to unleash its deadly roll call. But Xiaohei is already in motion, singing along to his own battle anthem. He hurls his makeshift firebomb with perfect calculated aim. With only 2 seconds left, his fiery surprise sails towards its target. The bottle lands squarely in the demon's mouth, revealing its attack as a sonic scream. 1 second remains as his plan reaches its explosive climax. If its power comes from its throat, then he'll simply blow it up from the inside out. With the music blaring, he gives his final command to the remaining students: run and don't look back. He throws himself against the door, becoming a human barricade to muffle the demon's deadly voice. Every muscle strains as he holds the line, buying precious seconds for the others to escape. One by one, the last students leap to safety, his desperate gamble finally paying off. But the demon isn't giving up, pounding relentlessly against his makeshift defense. The door handle rattles violently, a frantic rhythm counting down his remaining time. Believing everyone is safe, he decides it's finally his turn to get the hell out of there. But as he reaches for the window, his vision blurs. The cost of his power is catching up to him. His body feels like lead, his mind shutting down from the sheer exhaustion of his deductions. With his spirit points nearly depleted, he's paralyzed by fear, regretting his heroic impulse as the demon is about to break through. He realizes that even if he had another chance, his choice would be the same. Despite his fear, he might still risk it all to save them. Just then, a familiar voice cuts through the chaos, offering him a hand. It's Lin Xia, pulling him from the brink and promising they'll escape together. With no time to spare, she leads him to the very edge of the window. Together, they take a leap of faith from the second-story classroom. They hit the ground hard but safe, finally clear of the immediate danger. He looks up to see the relieved faces of the classmates he managed to save. Tears of pure relief stream down his face as he realizes his impossible plan actually worked. He lets out a shaky laugh, overwhelmed by the fact that for once he's not just a side character. But his moment of triumph is cut short as Lin Xia grabs him, her face a mask of pure shock. Their brief victory is overshadowed by the massive gate in the sky, now fully open and pulsing with dark energy. A nightmare horde of demons spills out, a grotesque parade ready to descend on the city. Xiaohei's heart sinks as he realizes he only won a single battle, not the war. The sky itself seems to bleed as countless creatures pour out, eager for destruction. He understands the grim reality. Among his friends, he's the only one who isn't just an ordinary person. His classmates are frozen in terror, convinced this is the end of the line for all of them. Just as all hope seems lost, a mysterious blue light erupts from the ground beneath them. The light expands into a shimmering dome, creating a protective barrier around the terrified students. Xiaohei stares at the energy field, a sudden thought sparking in his mind. Could this be a hunter's power? Just in the nick of time, the Hunters Association arrives, deflecting a demon attack with protective shields. A mysterious figure lands, reinforcing the barrier and warning the students not to move an inch. The savior is revealed as Ba Ling, an S-tier hunter with spatial abilities, who promises more backup is on the way. Xiaohei notices his spirit points have started to recover, giving him a small sliver of hope. He breathes a sigh of relief, believing the worst is finally over now that the professionals are here. But inside the cramped barrier, panic turns his classmates into a disorderly, shoving mob. In the chaos, one of the girls loses her footing, her sneaker slipping on the ground. The panicked shoving sends the unfortunate student tumbling right out of the protective field. Xiaohei watches in horror, realizing she's now completely exposed to the demon horde. Lin Xia cries out her friend's name, her face a mask of pure, unadulterated terror. The students scream in terror, desperately hoping the hunters can save their classmate. But Ba Ling is at her limit, the immense pressure of the demon horde threatening to shatter her shield. A shadowy demon closes in on the defenseless girl, her pleas for help echoing in the chaos. Tears stream down her face as she watches her grim fate stomp ever closer. In a flash, she's snatched into the air by a grotesque, multi-headed creature. The creature's 3 heads open wide, ready to make her its next meal right before their eyes. Just as all hope seems lost, Xiaohei's system kicks in, initializing another deduction. In his vision, he sees himself stepping out of the barrier, choosing to intervene. Armed with a pair of giant shears, he charges forward, screaming for the demon to release her. The mundane tool transforms in his hands, becoming a massive, holy sword ready for battle. The vision pits him against a roaring monster in a fight for survival. But the simulation ends abruptly. His spirit points are critically low, yet he's found the perfect path to victory. Back in the real world, his classmate is seconds away from becoming Demon Chao. With no time to hesitate, Xiaohei charges out, shears in hand and a desperate plan in mind. Meanwhile, the hunter's protective shield is starting to crack under the immense pressure. The energy field flickers violently, threatening to vanish at any moment. Ba Ling knows that once it falls, every single student will be left defenseless. Suddenly, a massive explosion of energy erupts, showering the area with strange, glowing shards. The demons are caught off guard as massive ice crystals begin to jut out from the ground. The entire battlefield is transformed into a deadly forest of ice, signaling the arrival of another powerful ally. An S-tier skill called Infinite Ice Formation instantly flash freezes the entire demon horde. Xiaohei is left completely speechless, stunned by this overwhelming display of power. The 3-headed monster that nearly devoured his classmate is now a grotesque ice sculpture. At the same moment, Ba Ling's protective barrier finally shatters, its energy completely exhausted. The newcomer, a hunter named Bai Gei, calmly reports the situation to his branch. He strolls through the frozen battlefield as if it's just another day at the office. With a single decisive move, he declares the entire demon incident has been settled. The students erupt in cheers, celebrating the hero who saved them all in an instant. While everyone rejoices, Xiaohei clenches his fist, a storm of emotions brewing inside him. But Bai Gei's work isn't done, his sharp gaze hinting that the real mission is about to begin. In a fit of rage, Xiaohei lands a punch right on the S-tier hunter's jaw. He grabs the hero by the collar, demanding to know why he let his classmate perish. The hunter's ice attack was brutally effective, freezing the 3-headed demon in its tracks. But his indiscriminate power also sealed the fate of the girl trapped in the monster's grasp. Her friends can only watch in horror, their cheers turning to sobs of grief. Baiga calmly scans Xiaohei's profile, seeing nothing but a worthless F-tier weakling. With a condescending smirk, he dismisses Xiaohei as an inexperienced brat who should just disappear. He argues that saving one half-dead person wasn't worth missing the perfect window to attack. The S-tier hunter poses a chilling question. Save 1 life or save 1,000? But Xiaohei furiously rejects the premise, believing there was a way to save them all. The hunter lectures him, claiming that even the strongest must make sacrifices. Ignoring Xiaohei, he orders his team to focus on closing the dimensional gate. Back with his classmates, Lin Xia thanks him, her words a stark contrast to the hunter's cold logic. The other students rally around him, finally seeing the F-tier nobody as their hero. They debate the hunter's brutal choice, realizing their friend's sacrifice might have saved them all. Xiaohei defends the hunter's actions, admitting Bai Ge is a hero who made the tough call. But internally, he rejects this idea, believing sacrifice is just an excuse for not being strong enough. He vows that next time, he won't be forced into a choice between two terrible options. With burning resolve, Xiaohei decides he'll become a hunter stronger than any S-tier hero. The story then flashes back to a grim past, hinting at a dark history in a suburban college town. Back in the day, this college town was a breeding ground for relentless bullying. The victims were left broken and defeated with no one to turn to for help. These moments of cruelty were often recorded, turning private pain into public spectacle. Strangely, no one ever reported these incidents, leaving the authorities completely in the dark. This silence only emboldened the tormentors, causing the cycle of misery to spiral out of control. Even the teachers were useless, blaming the victims and turning a blind eye to their suffering. These repeated betrayals became a curse, forging a dark link between the students' despair and the demon world. Their final thoughts of indifferent teachers manifested into a terrifying creature born of pure resentment. This demon teacher was the first of its kind, appearing in hundreds of classrooms all at once. In a flash, they caused mass casualties and tore open a C-tier gate, unleashing hell on the city. Back in the present, Xiaohei watches the news report on the demon attack, admitting the chaos was a thrill. The school declared a week-long break, leaving him to process the aftermath from his couch. His phone buzzes with messages from classmates, calling him a hero and even asking him out to lunch. He questions his new title as a hero, only to be interrupted by a sudden notification. It's a message from the Hunters Association, confirming his monthly allowance as an F-tier member. But his personal attribute panel tells a different story. 0 psychic power and a status of unawakened. He knows the truth. He's not a hero, just a fraud who cheated his way into an F-tier ranking. His deception began 10 years ago when his mother disappeared, leaving him with no way to pay the bills. To survive, he's been using a necklace she left behind to fake being an awakened person for the association. The necklace's power is a simple storage ability, a parlor trick for real hunters but his only source of income. Luckily, the necklace is undetectable by the association's machines, making it the perfect cover. He clutches the only photo he has of his mom, but strangely, he can't even remember her face. The night she vanished is a total blank, but it left him with an unusually high spirit stat. He questions the origin of his deduction system, a power that operates independently of his unawakened status. After a week of intense deliberation, he knows what he has to do in a world full of demons. With his mind made up, he decides to stop faking it and officially apply to become a hunter. Scrolling through his class chat, he admits this isn't about being a hero, it's about getting stronger. He's driven by the desire to never be helpless again, to have the power to protect those he cares about. Becoming a hunter also offers a hidden perk, access to classified files that might lead him to his missing mother. His new path begins at the Binhai City branch of the Hunters Association. He's immediately shut down by a stone-faced official who says F-tiers need not apply. But Xiaohei just smiles, revealing he has a much bigger goal in mind. With his deduction skill active, he declares he's not just joining, he's aiming for the top. His real plan is to get his power reevaluated, knowing his secret system is undetectable. The official agrees, and Xiaohei prepares to blow her mind by predicting the next 10 minutes. She leads him away with a warning, claiming that abilities like his rarely change. He follows confidently, thinking a simple demonstration of his future sight will be a piece of cake. But his vision shows him something so unexpected, it shatters his composure in an instant. A squad of elite hunters storms past, their leader announcing a D-tier mission with a 30-second deadline. Xiaohei freezes as he recognizes the squad's infamous captain, Bai Ge, the S-tier hero from the school attack. Xiaohei breaks into a cold sweat, realizing the S-tier hero is staring right at him. Bai Ge smirks, dismissing him with a single condescending word, rookie. The casual insult infuriates Xiaohei as he watches his new rival walk away. He's ready to throw down, but the official holds him back, reminding him he'd be crushed in seconds. His deduction countdown ticks away, reminding him he has less than 6 minutes to prove himself. On the way to the evaluation room, Xiaohei slyly asks what tier a future seeing ability would be. He confidently guesses it must be at least A tier, maybe even stronger than Bai Ge himself. The official shoots him a look, calling him a clueless rookie for even asking. She reveals that any time-related power is an instant SSS tier, the highest rank in existence. Such a person wouldn't be a hunter, they'd be a national strategic weapon, immediately taken into custody. She explains that SSS tiers are locked away for life, becoming living national treasures. It's a gilded cage, but it's the only way to protect them from a world that wants to control their power. Xiaohei's face cracks, realizing his dream of being a top hunter might come with a lifetime subscription to a padded cell. She schools him on the true meaning of power, asking if he grasps the strategic value of seeing 10 minutes into the future. In modern warfare, where battles are won in an instant, his ability would be the ultimate game changer. While she's talking about national security, Xiaohei's sweating, remembering his grand ambition was just to see if his crush would say yes. He admits his biggest goal lately has been predicting winning bottle caps, a far cry from preventing global conflict. The official reveals time users are legendary, mentioning a woman who could alter the past but vanished decades ago. With every dark organization hunting for her, she turns to start the test, completely unaware of the bombshell she just dropped. But when she looks back, Xiaohei has vanished into thin air, leaving her completely baffled. He bolts, realizing his power isn't a ticket to fame, but a one-way trip to becoming a government asset. His simple goal of finding his mom is now a desperate escape plan. His ability must never be discovered. The deduction countdown ticks on, reminding him this entire crisis is still just a vision of the future. Defeated, he considers giving up, convinced that saving the world is a job for real heroes, not him. But his self-pity is cut short as a sudden flash of light snaps his attention back to the present. A massive spatial portal rips open the lobby, a power he instantly recognizes as Ba Ling's. But instead of a triumphant return, a battered hunter collapses out of the portal, gravely wounded. The grim scene on the floor confirms the mission was anything but a success. With her last breath, she reports the intel was wrong. The D-tier mission was actually a deadly S-tier trap. She confirms the horrifying truth. Every single member of the elite Lingay squad has been eliminated. The grim reality of his vision hits hard as the vice captain collapses, her mission a fatal failure. Panic erupts in the lobby, but Xiaohei is frozen, processing the horrifying future he just witnessed. With her dying breath, the vice captain confirms the worst. For her and her team, it's already too late. The truth sinks in. The city's strongest heroes are about to be wiped out in less than 10 minutes. His future vision abruptly ends, the system yanking him back to the present with a chilling confirmation. Snapping back to reality, Xiaohei realizes the clock is ticking on a disaster only he knows is coming. He shoves the official aside, screaming a desperate warning that the city's best squad is walking into a death trap. Ignoring the rules and consequences, he bolts down the hall with a single impossible goal: stop them. Meanwhile, the elite squad marches forward, completely unaware their D-tier mission is a one-way ticket. Baigo gives the order to move out, setting in motion the very tragedy Xiaohei is racing to prevent. While other hunters gush over the city's strongest squad, Xiaohei races past them with a plan. He knows he can't just reveal his future seeing power without becoming a government science project. With the squad set to teleport in 10 seconds, saving them mid-mission is completely off the table. As Baige begins the final countdown, Xiaohei realizes there's only one insane option left. He decides the only way to stop them from leaving is to create a scene they can't ignore. With a perfectly timed punch, he plans to cause enough chaos to delay their departure and save their lives. The S-tier hero goes flying, leaving his entire squad stunned into silence. Xiaohei grabs his rival by the tie, putting on the performance of a lifetime. With a twisted grin, he taunts the captain, asking how he's managed to become so pathetic. His sudden act of aggression leaves everyone in the hallway completely and utterly terrified. The elite squad can only stare in shock as their captain gets manhandled for the second time. Internally, Xiaohei is already begging for his life, worried his good deed will be his last. Baige's patience runs out, his eyes glowing as he promises to end this F-tier's career permanently. A dark aura surrounds the S-tier hunter, who admits he's about to break his rule of not picking on the weak. He clenches his fist, furious that some nobody has assaulted him twice without a good reason. Just as he's about to strike, his vice captain intervenes, while Xiaohei focuses on his 10-minute delay plan. But the vice captain simply starts a countdown, completely unfazed by the drama. Xiaohei sweats bullets, realizing his plan requires him to survive a 10-minute beatdown from an enraged S-tier. After a mere 10 seconds, she snaps her fingers, much to the clown's dismay who wanted to see a fight. Before Bai Ge can land a single punch, a spatial skill activates, teleporting both him and Xiaohei away from the scene. The remaining squad members are left behind, staring in disbelief as their teammates vanish. Xiaohei breaks into a cold sweat, realizing his plan has gone horribly wrong. They materialize in a ruined city, with the vice captain announcing their arrival at the D-tier mission site. His brilliant idea to stop them from coming has resulted in him being dragged along to the death trap. The vice captain explains that since they were touching, she had to teleport them both, leaving 2 teammates behind. He's horrified to realize he's replaced 2 key members with 1 useless F-tier in an already fatal mission. Another squad member tells them to put their fight on hold, and Bai Ge begrudgingly agrees to focus on the mission. Baiga internally questions Xiaohei's erratic behavior, from naive hero to sudden attacker, and now a terrified mess. He sighs, concluding the rookie must have a mental illness which he finds more pathetic than anything. The S-tier hunter promises to put their beef aside for now, but vows to arrest Xiaohei the second the mission is over. Xiaohei comically mourns his fate, deciding to spend his last 10 minutes designing a really nice coffin. He envisions the squad's grim end, realizing there won't be enough of him left to even fill a coffin. Catching his breath, he confirms the terrible truth. An unknown crisis is about to hit, and they're walking right into it. He gets to his feet, knowing this isn't a D-tier mission but a full-blown S-tier slaughterhouse. With his survival instincts kicking in, he makes a break for it, deciding to save the only person he can, himself. But his desperate escape is cut short by a firm hand grabbing him by the collar. Baijiu yanks him back, declaring it's his duty to protect a weakling, even one as annoying as him. The S-tier hero confidently states that as long as he's standing, his team is perfectly safe. Baijiu orders him to stay close, but Xiaohei just cries, realizing his plan to abandon them just got a lot more complicated. The hunter explains this is just a simple investigation, as no gate has appeared and only faint demon traces were found. Baijiu's patient explanation of the mission only fuels Xiaohei's guilt, making it harder to abandon them. Utterly confused by the breakdown, Bai Ge dismisses Xiaohei as a pathetic mental patient. Their local contact arrives, immediately questioning their numbers and calling out the obvious rookie in their ranks. Introducing herself as the district director, she reveals their target is a strange cult statue she discovered. As they walk through the ruins, she explains how the forgotten residents turned to cults out of sheer desperation. Annoyed by her endless chatter, Xiaohei covers his ears, complaining that she's just like his mom. He scans the dilapidated street, noting the obvious poverty of the people who live there. The team passes by some makeshift fruit stalls, observing the bleak marketplace. He notices the fruit looks old and unsold, another grim sign of the neighborhood's struggles. A chilling detail catches his eye. With no meat for sale, he wonders just how dire things are here. He realizes something is deeply wrong with this neighborhood. There are no children anywhere. His dark thoughts are interrupted by a flyer smacking him right in the face. He peels the paper off, his annoyance quickly turning to concern. It's a missing person notice for a young girl, with a strangely specific age listed down to the day. The director announces they've arrived at the mission's ground zero. She leads them to an abandoned warehouse, fumbling with a broken lock while complaining about her husband. Vega gets a bad feeling, ordering his team to protect the civilians and the rookie if things go south. But their guide mistakes their hushed whispers for disrespect and launches into a lecture. The elite squad is instantly defeated by the ultimate weapon, a long, rambling story from an old lady. Once inside, she reveals the cult's name and their disturbing practice of making offerings to a deity. Xiaohei's blood runs cold as he lays eyes on the cult's so-called deity. Before them stands a grotesque throne of bones, crowned with a skeletal figure. He stares at the statue's grim face, a horrifying realization dawning on him. He remembers his vision. These are the same bone spikes that took down the vice captain. With dawning horror, he understands this warehouse is the squad's fated graveyard. The 10-minute countdown is up as the warehouse shutters slam shut, trapping them inside. Baiga orders his team to protect the civilians, completely unaware of the real threat. But their guide, the district director, just laughs, her friendly act completely gone. She pulls a knife, disappointed that they only brought 4 hunters instead of the 5 she was promised. With a chilling grin, she reveals 4 sacrifices just aren't enough to satisfy her god. The director's face twists into a horrifying grin as she decides to improvise her offering. In a shocking display of devotion, she offers herself as the final sacrifice for her god. Xiaohei can only stare, completely stunned by the fanatical turn of events. Even the seasoned vice captain is caught completely off guard by the woman's sudden move. The entire elite squad is frozen in disbelief at the bloody scene before them. As the director collapses, the entire warehouse begins to shake violently. But Xiaohei knows this is no earthquake. It's the beginning of the end for the city's strongest team. With no other choice, he activates his deduction skill, ready to rewrite this deadly future. His eyes glow with focus as he dives into countless possibilities, searching for a single path to survival. As the ground trembles, the bone deity awakens, its deadly spikes aimed right at the unsuspecting hunters. The vice captain admits her power is too low to teleport them, but she's not leaving anyone behind. Her final offering pools on the ground, a grim tribute to her twisted god. But the offering begins to bubble and rise, defying gravity itself. The squad watches in confusion as the strange liquid floats towards its true target. The bone deity absorbs the sacrifice, its skeletal form reanimating with a sinister energy. Its eyes ignite with a terrifying red glow, signaling the true battle is about to begin. The other hunters can only watch as the creature's power surges, feeding on the offering. A strange red light fills the warehouse, catching everyone in its eerie glow. Xiaohei is instantly stunned, realizing this light is more than just a spooky effect. The entire elite squad is paralyzed, discovering the demon can control them with a single glance. The bone deity flexes its razor-sharp claws, its glowing eyes locking onto its prey. In a flash, a cage of bone erupts from the ground, trapping the squad with the reanimated monster. The spikes shoot forward, a deadly barrage aimed at the paralyzed hunters. In his vision, there's no escape as the wave of bone closes in instantly. The simulation shows the entire squad helpless, about to be skewered by the demon's first move. Even in his mind, Xiaohei is frozen in terror, unable to dodge the inevitable. The simulation ends in a familiar splash of failure as the attack lands. His deduction state ends, confirming this future is another dead end and costing him precious spirit points. Snapping back to reality, he realizes the key. The demon's paralyzing gaze is its true weapon. At the same time, the vice captain confirms their escape route is cut off, but she's not leaving anyone behind. One of the hunters points in horror as the offering surges towards the bone deity. Xiaohei screams a desperate warning, telling everyone to close their eyes and not look at the statue. He insists this is an S-tier threat, and the red light is the key to its power. The other squad member is baffled, wondering how a rookie could possibly know any of this. Xiaohei begs them to trust him just this once, declaring himself part of the team. Despite the conflicting intel, Bai Gei makes a snap decision and orders his teammate to listen. The S-tier captain takes charge, commanding a full retreat with everyone's eyes shut tight. As they turn to leave, the bone deity's head rises, its eyes blazing with a paralyzing red glow. The creature's full skeletal form emerges, radiating an overwhelming, sinister energy. While retreating blind, a hunter raises a valid point. How can they fight what they can't see? Xiaohei feels his body turn sluggish, knowing the red light is the cause of their paralysis. The bone deity fully awakens, its gaze a promise of a very sharp and pointy end. With his eyes still shut, Xiaohei screams a precise warning. "The upper left side!" The team turns just in time to see a deadly barrage of bone spikes heading right for them. The vice captain springs into action, forming a powerful energy shield with her bare hands. Her spatial barrier intercepts the attack, stopping the deadly spikes just inches from the team. The S-tier hero stares in disbelief, finally understanding the F-tier rookie can somehow see the future. He understands that simply dodging won't work. Each move they make creates a new, unpredictable future. Since the future is constantly changing, he unleashes a new skill for the first time: real-time deduction. The bone deity responds with a relentless 360-degree assault, testing the limits of their defense. Even the elite hunters feel their power draining, finally realizing the rookie might be telling the truth. With his eyes still shut, Xiaohei focuses, ready to predict the demon's next deadly move. The system confirms he's back in the simulation, burning through his power to find a way out. In his vision, their defenses crumble as the bone deity's power proves too overwhelming. The simulation ends with the entire squad being wiped out, another gruesome failure. His spirit points take another hit as the system yanks him back, confirming that path is a dead end. Back in the real world, he screams a new warning. The right side. Baiga summons a massive ice wall, blocking the attack just in the nick of time. The S-tier hero is stunned. The rookie's predictions are so fast, it's almost as if he can control time. Xiaohei realizes he needs a new strategy to conserve his power and outsmart the demon. He dives back into the simulation, burning through his remaining power to find a way out. The vision shows their defenses crumbling as the bone deity's power proves too overwhelming. In this future, he spots a new threat, a fatal flaw in their formation. He screams a warning to the tough-looking hunter, telling him to defend himself from the left. But the hunter is instantly skewered, revealing he's actually the team's healer with zero defense. Xiaohei comically realizes the muscle-bound brawler is the squishiest member of the team. The simulation ends in another gruesome failure, draining even more of his precious spirit points. Back in the real world, he orders the healer to use his speed skill to get everyone moving. The healer unleashes his A-tier speeding step, cloaking himself in a powerful green aura. With a burst of incredible speed, he yanks the entire team out of the attack's path just in time. Baige is stunned that the rookie even knows his team's specific skills. He reconsiders his initial judgment, realizing this F-tier is anything but a rookie. But there's no time to think as Xiaohei screams another urgent prediction. He warns them of an attack from below, forcing the entire squad to leap for their lives. The vice-captain throws up another shield, but Xiaohei feels his power draining with every future he reveals. He realizes the demon is now focusing on him, making the attacks even more relentless. Thanks to a quick peek into the future, he knows their only escape is just a few steps away. The healer screams a warning as the bone deity closes in on them from behind. With a desperate shout to dodge, someone makes a last-second move. Xiaohei finds himself face-to-face with Baige after a rough, life-saving shove. The S-tier hero and the rookie start bickering over directions in the middle of a life-or-death battle. Their argument gets so heated that a teammate has to physically separate the two brawlers. The healer finally snaps, telling them to shut up and use a clock face to call out attacks. With his spirit points plummeting, Xiaohei becomes a frantic one-man GPS for the chaotic retreat. He spots their only way out, screaming for everyone to make a run for the shuttered door. With his power nearly gone, they make a final desperate dash as the demon's spikes close in. A powerful force smashes through the metal door, creating their escape route. The entire squad leaps through the opening, finally breaking free from the deadly warehouse. Left behind, the bone deity's eyes flare with rage, its power reaching a terrifying peak. But without its prey, the creature's energy begins to fade, its form starting to dissipate. Xiaohei catches his breath, assuming everyone's power is as drained as his after that S-tier fight. But Baige grabs him by the tie, demanding the rookie finally confess his secrets. The S-tier hero gets right in his face, his patience completely gone. With a piercing gaze, Baige asks the one question that matters. What is he hiding? Before Xiaohei can answer, Baige gets clocked from behind by an unseen attacker. The rookie watches in shock as the S-tier hero is taken down by a local with a bat. It's a full-blown ambush as the entire squad is swarmed by the neighborhood residents. The locals' crazed eyes reveal they're not just angry, they're fanatics protecting their god. Xiaohei wakes up in darkness, terrified to open his eyes and see what fresh hell awaits him. But his system panel reveals a silver lining. His spirit points are fully restored and regenerating. He calculates that he's been out cold for at least 2 hours. Waking with a jolt, he discovers he's been tied up, his mind racing to identify his captors. He listens intently to the silence, trying to determine if he's being guarded. Knowing he can't act recklessly, he decides to formulate a plan before opening his eyes. With no other options, he activates his deduction skill to scout out the situation. His system confirms his spirit points are fully restored as he enters the simulation. He snaps his eyes open, finding himself bound to a bed in a very unexpected location. His initial panic quickly turns to pure, unadulterated confusion. Instead of a sacrificial altar, he's been dumped in a surprisingly normal-looking bedroom. Relieved, he figures the cultists just stashed him in the first available room they could find. He breathes a sigh of relief, thinking he's dodged a bullet for now. But his relief is cut short by a strange sight gathering outside the window. He recognizes the scarlet clouds as a sign that a high-tier gate is about to open. Panicked, he realizes he's still tied up and has no idea where the rest of the squad is. His first priority is clear: figure out how to break free from his bonds. As he gets his footing, he can't help but notice he's in a surprisingly cute girl's room. But his awkward observation is interrupted by a sinister hiss from under the bed. Ignoring the creepy eyes, he shuffles over to the desk, fumbling for a way to cut the ropes. As he finally snips through his restraints, a shadowy creature begins to emerge from the darkness. Now free, he debates his next move, completely oblivious to the growling monster right behind him. He finally turns around, only to find he's not alone in the room. A massive, shadowy beast towers over him, its growl filling the silence. The creature bears a horrifying set of fangs, ready to strike. Its glowing purple eyes lock onto him, a predator sizing up its cornered prey. In his vision, the monster lunges forward, its attack swift and brutal. The simulation shows him being helplessly dragged away by the vicious creature. His desperate struggle ends in a flash of overwhelming, crushing force. The deduction state ends, confirming this future is another gruesome dead end. Snapping back to reality, his eyes fly open with the fresh memory of his own demise. He gasps for air, realizing that simulation wasn't a quick end, but a drawn-out nightmare. He quickly realizes this cute bedroom is actually a very elaborate trap, because there's a monster with glowing eyes hiding right under the bed. He deduces he's safe as long as he doesn't touch the floor, but that's not a long-term plan, especially since the sky outside is signaling another gate is about to rip open. Trapped and powerless, he starts to despair, feeling like a useless rookie. But a sudden memory sparks an idea. The creature was overflowing with dark energy. He recalls that infected creatures are just corrupted beings, not true demons from the gate. With this new intel, he activates his deduction skill, ready to find a loophole. His simulation confirms that infected creatures are much weaker than the real deal. Armed with this knowledge, he makes a desperate leap of faith, aiming for the scissors on the desk. With his hands now free, he thinks he might just have a fighting chance against a simple infected beast. He turns to face his foe, scissors at the ready, convinced he can take it on. But his confidence shatters as he comes face to face with a monstrous shadow cat. The simulation ends with him comically trying to fend off the beast with a pair of craft scissors. His system yanks him back to reality, confirming that Brave Charge was a one-way ticket to failure. Still tied up, he has a full-blown panic attack, realizing hot-blooded heroics don't work in real life. He tearfully regrets his life choices, deciding rookies like him should just stay home. But a sudden thought cuts through his despair. The monster only attacks when it can see him. He quickly maps out a new escape route, a parkour path across the furniture to stay out of sight. But his brilliant plan hits a snag. The door is too far away, and he has no way to know if it's even unlocked. With no other choice, he dives back into the simulation to test his crazy escape plan. In his vision, he carefully hops onto a chair, the first step in his furniture parkour. Just as he predicted, staying off the floor keeps him out of the monster's line of sight. He makes a daring bound leap from the chair to the desk, aiming for the scissors. With his hands finally free, he sets his sights on the final obstacle, the door. A sudden realization hits him, turning his desperate plan into a stroke of genius. He spots the unlocked door, a lucky break in this otherwise deadly trap. Now, on top of a dresser, he stretches desperately towards his only way out. His fingers graze the doorknob, turning it with a satisfying click. The door swings open, revealing a path to freedom and ending the simulation on a high note. Back in reality, he grips the top of the door, putting his perfect plan into action. With a graceful swing, he dangles his way out of the room, avoiding the floor at all costs. He lands silently in the hallway, his heart pounding with the thrill of the escape. With a quiet click, he shuts the door, trapping the monster inside. Leaning against the door, he breathes a sigh of relief, thinking he's finally safe in the living room. But his victory is cut short as a cold, bony hand grabs him from behind. A horrifying creature looms over him, whispering that it's finally found its baby. Xiaohei is frozen solid, trapped in the grasp of this new nightmare. The monster leans in close, its toothy grin filling his vision as it asks a chilling question. It offers him a dinner menu straight from a horror film, mice, beef, or carrion. The creature continues its horrifying menu, offering maggots and mud. Its final suggestion is the most chilling of all: bodies. Xiaohei sweats, realizing that out of all the terrible choices, beef is the only normal one. He nervously picks beef, hoping it's the right answer to this deadly quiz. But the creature's friendly act shatters, and Xiaohei realizes he's made a terrible mistake. The monster lets out an ear-splitting shriek, its body twisting in pure rage. It lunges forward, its bony hand clamping right over Xiaohei's face. As it squeezes, the creature screams that he's not its daughter. It drags him across the room, yelling for him to get out of its house. With a final furious shove, the monster throws him straight through a glass cabinet. The simulation ends, confirming that choosing beef was a very, very bad idea. His eyes snap open, the phantom pain of his gruesome end still fresh in his mind. Back on the bed, he realizes that was the first time he's ever been taken out by a simple fall. He shudders, now understanding the grim reality of what it feels like to be completely broken. With grim resolve, he vows to end the simulation himself next time before it ends him. He discovers a silver lining. Extreme trauma increases his spirit cap, but the price is steep. With only 10 chances left, he knows randomly guessing the monster's favorite food is a waste of power. As he snips at his bonds, he realizes he's on a timer before a new gate rips open the sky. He racks his brain, desperately trying to find a way to pass this deadly dinner quiz on the first try. Under immense pressure, he forces himself to stay focused, knowing one wrong move is his last. The repeated, gruesome ends of his simulations are taking a serious toll on his mind. He laments his fate, wishing for the simple, boring life he'd planned instead of this nightmare. He tries to refocus on finding his mom, but the constant stress is clouding his judgment. But a sudden glint of something on the desk cuts through his panic, sparking his curiosity. He finds a diary, realizing it might hold the key to understanding this whole mess. Sitting on the desk, he opens the girl's diary, hoping for a clue to survive the monster's quiz. The first entry connects the dots. The monster in the living room thinks it's the girl's mother. He reads about her beloved cat, Meow, a detail that seems innocent but might be important. The diary's tone shifts as her grandpa falls ill, hinting at a darker turn of events. A heartbreaking entry reveals the family's grief as her grandma lashes out in sorrow. The diary reveals the family's financial struggles, forcing the girl to drop out of school for her grandpa's treatment. Things get worse when her grandma gives her tuition money to a strange cult deity. The family fractures as her mom argues against the cult, calling the deity evil. 2 years later, the girl is miserable and isolated, her only friend being her cat, Meow. A heartbreaking entry shows her grandpa refusing medicine to appease his wife's fanatical beliefs. The final entry is filled with hope for her 7th birthday, a stark contrast to the family's grim reality. But the diary ends there, leaving Xiaohei with a chilling, unanswered question. He stares at the book, a dark realization dawning about the family's tragic fate. A bead of sweat rolls down his face as all the horrifying pieces finally click into place. With a flash of insight, he knows exactly how to answer the monster's deadly dinner quiz. He connects the dots. The girl from the diary is the monster's long-lost daughter. The diary is a goldmine, detailing every single one of the girl's habits and complaints. With the perfect script in hand, he dives back into the simulation for the performance of a lifetime. He now understands the monster's twisted quiz is just a grieving mother's obsession. Armed with this knowledge, he rejects the monster's cooking and demands snacks, just like her daughter would. The plan works. The monster sees him as her child, and he pushes the act further by complaining about money. He continues the charade, asking to go out with friends, but his new mom is a bit overprotective. With no other choice, he unleashes the ultimate weapon, a full-blown childish tantrum. His acting is a little too real, dredging up painful memories of his own childhood. A sudden flashback reveals he was the exact same kind of picky, pouting kid with his own mother. The painful memory brings a bittersweet smile to his face as he recalls his own mother. But his nostalgia is shattered when his new mom serves him a plate of pure nightmare fuel. He gags, realizing the horrifying dinner menu wasn't a joke. It was a list of actual ingredients. The grim truth hits him. He's not the first person to be served this final meal. He wonders why the demon spares the cultists, but his train of thought is cut short by her creepy, motherly affection. With his deduction time running out, he knows he needs a permanent solution, and fast. Under immense pressure, his mind races to find a weakness in the creature's twisted reality. He recalls a key detail from the diary, realizing the demon is trapped in a loop, thinking it's always late at night. With a new plan in mind, he gently takes the monster's hand, ready for his final performance. He plays the part of a loving son, telling his mom to stop worrying and get some rest. The creature freezes, its horrifying face stunned into silence by his kind words. Xiaohei sweats, wondering if his Oscar-worthy performance was a little too cheesy. His concern is answered with a sudden, bone-crushing hug from his new monster mom. The creature sobs tears of blood, moved that her daughter has finally grown up. He tries to play it cool, but internally he's screaming that she's even scarier when she's emotional. He gently guides her to her bedroom, hoping to tuck this nightmare in for good. His plan is simple. Get her to sleep, then make a run for it before he becomes breakfast. But just as he's about to leave, a glint of light from the nightstand catches his attention. He spots a nearly empty bottle of sleeping pills, and a new, brilliant plan begins to form. With a reassuring smile, he offers his new mom a little something to help her sleep. He hands her the pills, telling his new mom it's time for bed. But she rejects them, confused as to why sleeping pills are even in her room. Xiaohei freezes, a horrifying realization dawning on him. The bottle triggers a memory, and the creature remembers taking her own life. She's stunned by the revelation, questioning why she would do such a thing. Her glowing eyes fill with sorrow as she recalls the true reason. Her child went missing. A heartbreaking memory confirms her daughter never returned home. Her grief turns to rage as she lunges at Xiaohei, screaming that he is not her child.